Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for the third of 4 sessions for Microsoft Tools in 21st Century Learning Design. My name is Jenny Mackay. I'm one of the Digital Skills Officers at Education Scotland, and I'm with the Tayside and National DigiLearnScot team. I'm joined this afternoon by Sarah Snowden, who's here representing Prodigy Learning and Microsoft. She's going to be leading this afternoon's session, and there's a whole range of different aspects of 21st Century Learning Design that we're going to cover, and Sarah's going to be talking you through some of the tools as well that can support implementing that. So before we go on, I'm just going to go to the next slide, and I want to highlight, and apologies, I know many of you, if not all of you, will know this, but just in case you don't, or you're watching this back on our DigiLearnScot YouTube channel, we are recording the session. Every Glow user, staff and learner, is entitled to 5 free downloads of Office. So if you aren't aware of that, please do have a look. You can get access to it from the Glow Launchpad. Also, thinking about things like transition, etc. that are coming up, please make sure that all of your learners have access to these tools. It allows them to be able to use them offline as well as online. And again, everyone gets 5 free licenses. Okay, so this afternoon, what we're going to be doing is giving an overview of the relevance of 21st Century Learning Design that says there. And we're going to focus on 4 particular tools which you may want to investigate. Now, unlike the other sessions that we've covered, these are not tools that are currently within Glow. So some of the tools you may be familiar with from your own professional learning or your own use of them. Some of them your authority introduced through their own tenancy or may have available to you through your network. However, we are simply raising awareness with the tools here for your knowledge, rather than saying, you know, if you go to Glow, these are here, like we would if it was OneNote or Word, etc. So we just want you to be aware of that. If there are any questions about those specific tools, please always speak to your local authority digital lead before using anything new with your learners. Or if you want to know more specific information around a digital product, as I say, this is a sort of unusual session in that these are Microsoft tools, but they're not currently available. Some of them are on your desktop. For example, the voice recorder may be already available through your desktop, but you may have to look around for these slightly more than the other sessions that we're doing in this series. However, you hopefully will be able to see how you could use the skills that we're teaching through the 21st Century Learning Design and apply them not just to these products but in a range of different ways, including things like Stream, which is available on Glow, and other tools which are similar. Okay, with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Sarah, and she is going to take you through this afternoon. Sarah, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Okay, so as Jenny mentioned, there are 4 apps that we're going to consider today. And these 4 apps are Minecraft Education Edition, Flipgrid, Microsoft Video Editor, Microsoft Voice Recorder. Now, it's important to bear in mind, this is not going to be a step-by-step training on these 4 apps. It's more an overview of the possibilities of these apps and what it offers to you as an educator and your learners to support and enhance the 21 CLD, or the 21st Century Learning Design. So we know we've got the elements of knowledge construction, collaboration, real-world problem solving, skilled communication, self-regulation, and the use of ICT for learning. Now, hopefully by now, you've been investigating these 6 areas and their kind of associated rubrics and the levels within those rubrics. And the 21st Century Learning Design Program provides educators with very clear and practical ways to develop these 21st century skills using digital technologies with the students. And the 21 CLD is the basis for the MCE, or the Microsoft Certified Educator. Now, that's obviously the qualification that you're working towards in the team. And as I say, the basis of this is the 21 CLD. Now, as we mentioned in the MCE introduction webinar, the curriculum for the MCE is made up of two streams. You've got the pedagogy-based stream and you've got the skills-based stream. The pedagogy-based stream aspect is approximately 80% of the curriculum course, and the skills make up the remaining 20%. Now, in the skills-based stream, it's you as educators are introduced and encouraged to become more innovative with cloud-based tools, regardless of what device you're using. And the questions in the MCE don't expect you to have a full working knowledge of all these apps available. However, it does expect you to have the understanding of the possibilities and how these can support the various 21 CLD rubrics and the levels within them. So that's more the kind of training or session that we're going to run, I should say, today. Okay, so as we've mentioned, we're going to consider these, and I want you to keep these apps in mind when you're considering the 21 CLD. And just importantly, also, I want you to think about how these apps can work together and be part of the various jigsaw of pieces that make up the tools you use within the classroom. That's physical things you use within the classroom, whether it be a whiteboard, whether it's other apps. Just think about how they can all join together. So don't think about them in isolation. So the first one we're going to consider is Minecraft Education Edition. But before we consider Minecraft Education Edition, first let's consider Minecraft. So Minecraft was actually first introduced way back in 2009. And when it was first introduced, it only had 32 blocks in there. Now it's one of the most played games in the world, and there's around 91 million players using it every single month. So what exactly is Minecraft? The Minecraft is an immersive environment where only limit is your imagination. In essence, it's an open world game, meaning there's no boundaries, there's no guardrails, there's no magical boundaries to keep players on a certain path. And furthermore, Minecraft is about building, creating, crafting, but it's also about destroying and iterating. Minecraft affords players the ability to move mountains, relocate rivers, build, destroy if it's not quite right, build again. Now, all of this takes time and the ability to take a leap as well. Minecraft in the commercial version is available on nearly every platform in one flavour or another. So that's consoles, Apple TV, Kindle Fire, laptops, desktops, LG phones. Minecraft is available on all of those. Now, this is why your learners will have a lot of familiarity with Minecraft, the commercial version. And there is a major misconception that Minecraft is a game for the very young because you see it as kind of like blocky. But in fact, we see engagement with the game across all age ranges, from primary to secondary to college age players and adults as well. I've even done programs in universities with this, believe it or not. So now, moreover, Minecraft is amazing to play on your own and explore things and discover things on your own, but it's been built as a multiplayer game, meaning it's about people collaborating together. So that's Minecraft the commercial. However, the Education Edition also offers many more options over the commercial version of the game. So nothing's been taken away. In fact, with the Education Edition, there's a lot more added, and these are added to make it more applicable for use in the classroom. So it's important that you know what those education features are so you kind of get this idea of what the possibilities are to use it within curriculum. So not using it just as a Friday afternoon golden time kind of thing, but use it to actually deliver your curriculum. So we're going to go through what these education features are. So the first one is that it's got a simple secure login. Right, learners and educators can choose automatically to log in on the basis of their credentials of whatever tenancy it's actually set up on. And as you sign out, it means that Minecraft is available on that device for somebody else to come and sign in as well with a different username. So it's a very simple and very secure login. So that is one of the first education features. Now, I want to introduce you to another education feature, which is the non-player character, or NPC. Now, this is one of my favourite of all time additions into the Minecraft Education Edition. They are humanoid characters that are in the worlds, and they can be used to provide life or ambience to your worlds, but they can also be interactive with visitors to the world and provide additional lessons, information, hints, instructions to the learners. So I'm going to actually go into a little video and talk through this video to show you how these NPCs actually work. Okay, so I'm just going to go into that first of all, just play on here. Right, okay. So we're in this world and there is an NPC. Now I'm in this world as a player. Okay, and if I was to right click onto this NPC now, you will see when I make these videos, they always seem like they're going quicker than what they do. But it will bear with us. There we go. And then you'll see that it will come up with a speech bubble. Now, nothing's been added in here at this time, but that's how a player would see it. Now, you can place these NPCs and you actually get them out of your inventory. And this is going to show you how you go into your library of blocks, etc. that are in here. I'm actually just going to kill my camera because it'll just help with this bandwidth. Okay. Okay, so there is the egg. That's an NPC egg, and it's been put into our hotbar that we've got access to. We're going to right click on the ground to try and place it, but we can't because we're in there as a player. We need to be in there as a world builder. So this is kind of like the admin side of things. So we're going to use what's called a slash command to change our perspective. So we'll go with slash command, put in world builder or WB, and that will change our status within that game. So this time, when we try to place an NPC down, you will see that we can place it on the floor. There you go, we've placed one. Now this time when we right click on the NPC, it's there ready for us to start filling in some information. We'll right click so we can change the NPC's name, the non-player character's name, just up there. We can edit the dialog box. We can change what skin or what clothes the NPC is wearing. So I'm just going to change the name here to welcome. And then I'm going to click on to the edit the dialogue. So in here now, I can actually type a message that I want another player to come in and see, or your learner to actually see. So you can choose, to type whatever information it is that you want in there. And these are important to start with, but you'll see in a minute where the real power comes into these NPCs. So he's just going to act as a guide. Okay, so now we can change what skin we want him to wear, or it to wear, I should say. I'm going to go for a bright yellow. And then I'm going to go on to the advanced settings. So this is where the power comes in. We can add URLs and we can add commands. If we click on the add a URL, that means that we're going to be able to link out to anything that's got a URL. So that could be a website, it could be a sway, it could be an online PowerPoint. There's a whole host of things. And as long as it's got a URL, you can actually put it in there. It will show as a button, so obviously you can give the button a name. I'm just going to change the button name here. And you can add up to 6 URLs to a single NPC. If we were to choose add a command, that means that we could actually get the NPC to give something to a player when they come there. So we could say something like give them a camera or give them a pickaxe or whatever it is that is relevant to the position you're putting them in the actual world there. Just going to speed this up a little bit. Conscious we've got quite a bit to get through. So, okay. So we've closed that now. Now, if we right click on again, it would come up because we're still in the world builder state. So we have to change the world builder to back again. So we know back in as the player. So now you'll see that when a player clicks on that, you can see the two buttons there. We've got the one to the URL and the one that's going to give them an action. So as I say, that is a very, very powerful addition to Minecraft Education Edition. Commercial version of Minecraft doesn't have that in there. The next one I want to just walk you through are chalkboards. Okay, now chalkboards come in 3 different sizes. These are really good for using to communicate learning goals, provide additional information, give it explicit instructions within the game. And I'm going to just set this going and we'll speed through some of it. So here we've got the 3 sizes. So you've got a slate, which is 1 by 1, size of 1 block by 1, a poster, which is 2 by 1, and a board, which is 2 by 3. And all of those are available in your inventory. And you can put those chalkboards in either on the ground or you can place them against a wall, whatever is suitable for your particular situation that you're putting them in there. You can also lock them, so once you put text in, it means that the text can't be changed. Or you could actually leave them open, so you could be that you want learners to actually add some information to those. You can see the little lock sign on there once you've actually put your information in, or you can leave them unlocked, let's say. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to actually just whiz on a little bit of that. Our next very, very useful tool is a camera. So an important aspect of using Minecraft Education is the ability to collect evidence of learning that's going on in the actual game and track learners' progress as well. And the camera and the portfolio are wonderful tools to do this. They can take screenshots of their work and document the development of the projects. And as with everything we've looked at so far, these are Education Edition features. Your learners will not have seen these in the commercial version at all. And they're all designed to enhance the pedagogical value of Minecraft within the curriculum and to kind of use it in inspiring ways. So again, I'm going to just start this off so we can find in our inventory the camera. So we'll put the camera back into our hotbar so we've got instant access to this. 2 ways we can use the camera. One is that we can hold it in our hand. So just there, and we can take a shot like that, holding it in our hand. We can also place it on the ground. The difference being that when you place it on the ground, it takes one picture. You can see the little smoke coming up, takes that picture, and then that camera disappears. Okay, so 2 ways to help use it. One, holding it in your hand, and the other is to have it on the ground as well. So again, depending on the learning situation, it would depend how you would actually use that. But you can use this, a number of different times, take the photographs, and then those photographs all go into something that's called a portfolio. And this is where we can explore our pictures. And obviously we need to get a portfolio out of our inventory. So we can put it into our pocket. There's our portfolio. And this will hold a collection of all the photographs that we've taken, on screen captures if you like. You can see in pages, and we can put a small caption there. So just a small caption, and we can delete them if they're not suitable. And that's where all of them are kept. And we can export that portfolio as well as a PDF. This links very nicely to the next education feature that I want to talk to you about, which is the book and quill. Now, the portfolio, as I said, only allows you to have that small caption of text, and it could be quite restrictive to some activities. So we've got the book and quill that allows learners to actually record much more of their adventures in a lot more detail, even tell whole stories in there. And the book and quill features allows you to add images from the camera into the book and pages for complete writing as well. So I'm just going to set this going so you can actually see a little example of this. So again, we've got a picture. We made sure that we've got one in our portfolio, but we need to get a book and quill. We get a book and quill out of the inventory, put it into our hotbar so we can access it. We can open up our book and quill, and you can see we've got blank pages here now, and the little icon at the bottom, the little pencil, shows that you can actually write in there, so you can do lots of writing. I'm just going to actually move this up a little bit so we get a little bit further on with it. It's just a bit slow. Come on. There we go, and you can see that we can change to actually choosing some pictures. So we've got a picture we can add in there, and we can add another page, and you can just, build this up as you go along, building up. You can have up to 50 pages in one of these. Now that could be done over a number of weeks until you're ready and it's finished, and you can sign it. Once you sign it with this here, can't be undone again. But once you do sign it, it does mean that you can export it. Okay, so there we are going to sign it. We're going to give it a name, and you can see that the book and quill has now changed to this purple colour. So it means that you can export that again as a PDF, or you could even leave it in the world, in a chest or something, for somebody else to explore. Now with those signs and with things in the book and quill, this other edition has just been marvellous. It's just made a whole world of difference. And I'm just going to play this little video for you now, and it's the immersive reader, which I'm sure
Hi, I'm Ruby,
many
a
of you are
special
familiar
education
with.
teacher. Minecraft Education Edition has helped me reach my students where they are, and I love seeing them work out problems in a fun Minecraft world, no matter what their learning styles are. There is one useful feature that supports learners in reading and translating text in a game. Let me show you how you can use Immersive Reader within Minecraft. As you navigate your Minecraft world, you'll notice that this button appears when you click on a non-player character or use the book and quill and portfolio. Clicking the button opens up Immersive Reader.
Greetings. Welcome to Minecraft School,
a helpful tool for reading and translating text. If you're looking at a board or sign, you can press the letter I on your keyboard to open up Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader lets you change font size, text spacing, background color, split words into syllables, and highlight parts of speech. You can click the play button to have the text read aloud as slowly as you want. Immersive Reader also lets you translate words.
Escuela Minecraft.
Toggle on the picture dictionary and you'll be able to click a word in Immersive Reader and see a picture of the item. The dictionary even includes Minecraft mobs like creepers and mushrooms. Now you can use Immersive Reader in Minecraft Education Edition for reading and translating. Check it out.
So again, this has just been a game changer. The tools that we had were fantastic and wonderful. Now we've got the immersive reader in there. It's just leveling the playing field completely. We've got some speciality blocks inside the Minecraft world as well that allows you to set different areas as well. So these blocks are not found in the commercial version. They've been designed again especially for educators. And these speciality blocks are designed to help you preserve structures you wish to keep, or prevent the world from visitors wandering off too far, or section different areas off to buildings. So let's have a look at these. So it's 3 blocks that we're going to look at, these speciality blocks. So we've got allow blocks. Now these can go under the ground, but we've just left them on the top so you can see them. So if this world was an immutable world, meaning that, somebody coming in couldn't actually change things, you could actually set an area, just an area there where somebody could go and build something. So they couldn't build anything anywhere else, but they could build in these allow areas. So you might have built a world as a teacher and you think that's just one area where I want the learners to go, but I don't want them to actually change anything else that I've put in there. You can see we can just build on these in this area. Now the opposite of that is deny blocks, which you can just see along here, these deny blocks. So those mean they prevent a player from building above them. Okay, so if you want to set an area that you don't want the player to be able to build anything above, you can see we can put it outside, but when you go to try and put a block in there, we can't. It just completely disappears. So one is allow and one is deny, depending which kind of world you build. And the third speciality block that I want to show you is a border block. Now I've built these above the world, but above the ground, but you can actually again put them below. Now a border block means that you can't build anything above or travel above them, and you can't go underneath them. With other blocks you could have actually dug underneath and mined, but with border blocks you can't. So you can't fly over them, you can't tunnel under them. It would completely either pen you in if you go into the world inside them, or you can't get inside there. So again, these could be useful for making sure that your learners stay in one place, or you actually want to put them under the ground to preserve a building that you've put in there. So all of those blocks are, on all of those things that we've been looking at there, are education features. That is what makes Minecraft Education Edition very different. And after observing schools in lots of countries actually who use Minecraft and speaking to educators who use it in their classrooms, it's been found that there's 4 most common benefits that fall into these areas. So we've got increased student engagement, we've got facilitate classroom collaboration, we've got an open world for creative exploration, and we've got a connection to learning that's tangible. The outcomes are tangible for you there. So let's talk about each of these in depth, and also as we're doing that, think about how do they align to the different rubrics within the 21 CLD. Okay, so if we think first of student engagement, and attention is the most precious commodity in the classroom, and trying to get your learners' attention can be quite difficult sometimes. Now, bringing deep thinking and problem solving and connections to the curriculum in the world that learners are already familiar with and are excited by is a huge, huge win. So your learners will know Minecraft and they will be eager to actually start to engage with this within the classroom. And when learners are engaged, nothing can stop them. They're ready to take on any challenge you want them to tackle, and by using Minecraft as a platform for learning, educators can motivate and inspire every learner to achieve more, ignite a passion for learning. Now, as I've already said, in the classroom of today, it's increasingly challenging to capture and maintain the attention and the engagement of every learner in the classroom. But Minecraft Education Edition is a way for educators to bring the classroom and the curriculum to the learners in an environment that they're already comfortable with, familiar with, and excited by. So Minecraft Education Edition is the same as the Minecraft experience, but it's got all those added features in there. So you're already on a win-win situation there, because you've got the features that will help you deliver the curriculum, but you've got your learners who are very familiar with the whole building side of things. So if you're thinking about the 21 CLD, by using Minecraft as a platform, educators can not only motivate and inspire every learner to achieve more and ignite that passion, you making very strong links to the use of ICT for learning rubric, in fact right up to code 5, where it depends on the activity and how you're doing it, but again Minecraft can really fit in very nicely, and we will look at this in more detail as we go along as well. Now let's consider collaboration. So collaboration in the workplace, teams are global, the workplace is virtual, and this has become out more and more since we've had the pandemic. And collaboration skills are what's going to keep the glue of people working together effectively. So having learners that can engage and collaborate and work in teams and learning environments fosters that cooperation in the classroom and help to prepare them for the future, help to develop those 21st century skills. Now, as we've already said, Minecraft Education Edition is designed for learners to play together, whether that's working in teams to solve a particular problem or collaborating as an entire class to go through a learning activity or master a challenge, etc. So, and if you've ever been privileged to be in a classroom at the same time as learners are actually using Minecraft, It can get very loud, but if you really listen to what's going on through that noise, you're going to hear learners negotiating, hopefully disagreeing respectfully with other people's ideas, advocating for their own ideas. So we think again about the 21 CLD. Using Minecraft Education within the classroom practice with authentic, meaningful projects, you can achieve up to a code 5 in the collaboration rubric. And I'll explain more what we say about authentic and meaningful projects. But think about the collaboration. If we look in there again, Minecraft is designed for people to work together. So we're already, just by introducing it, at a code 2 because they're working together. If they're building something together, they're going to have a shared responsibility. So we'll be up to a code 3. If they make substantive decisions together about the content and the process of how they're building something, or the outcome of their work, again, we're going to be at a level 4. And you can see how just by introducing Minecraft and putting it within your curriculum, how you can move up this rubric very, very easily. Creative exploration was the third area in there. So as an educator, I'm really interested in the art of language. I would want my learners to find their voice when they're writing. I want them to try many ideas, struggle and grapple and figure things out, figure out what they want to say in the world with their own voice. Now, people learn naturally through a combination of observation, trial and error, play-based practice. Now, I could do a whole afternoon on games-based learning, but I'll keep this quite short, but it's something that I'm very, very interested in there. But as educators, we want our learners to overcome their fear of failure. We want them to learn through observation, through trial and error, and through that play-based practice. Now, as we've already said, there is no instruction book for Minecraft. It's much like real life, that there's no step-by-step instructions. Learners must try, they will fail, and they'll try again, and as a result, they just want to keep going. And I've seen so many learners build such resilience by using Minecraft in the lessons. It's just amazing to see that actually happen. It gives them the freedom and the independence for self-direction, allowing learners the freedom to experiment, challenge themselves, challenge their peers as well. It also makes it quite easy for you as an educator to actually have differentiated learning experiences as well. And because Minecraft is this open canvas, learners are able to express themselves in the way they want to, their ideas, what is unique to them. So this really fits in very nicely with self-regulation. And if we just look at the rubric for self-regulation, hopefully just by the description I've given you, will see there that if learners are using something like Minecraft that's used in a purposeful way within a curriculum topic, it is going to be a long term. So they are going to have to set their learning goals and hopefully set some success criteria as well there. They will need to plan their work. And again, hopefully this will come out later as I go through more of this as well. So again, you can get up to a code 4 very easily if you've actually implemented it in a meaningful way that's got purpose, which would lead to very strong, tangible outcomes. And to create that fully inclusive classroom, educators are challenged to create lesson plans and learning activities that cater for all types of learners, whether they're visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic, tactile learners. Now, the core curriculum is often skewed towards visual and auditory learners. Physical manipulation and labs are beneficial for kind of those kinesthetic type learners, but you're often limited to be able to do that within a school environment. But using something like Minecraft to allow them to model their ideas, you are actually giving them that tactile kinesthetic experience there as well. But it also actually meets the needs of the visual and auditory learners. Again, I do a full hour session just on this again, but I'm just touching on it briefly. So hopefully by now you'll see that Minecraft Education Edition encourages communication. It encourages creativity, collaboration, whether that's on or offline, again, depending how it's built into your project. There are some important stages to take and truly embrace the communication, creativity and collaboration that Minecraft can actually bring about and offer it in a meaningful way and actually develop these 21st century aspects. I just want to talk this through with you. So as with any project you're planning to use in your classroom, you'd always start with a scheme of work, that high level overview, and that would be broken down into your lessons or into stages. Now, after a number of years of working with a team of educators to develop a kind of framework for delivering successful classroom projects that deliver the required curriculum and support the development of the 21 CLD, we found the following very effective. So the lesson plans are those stages of the project, and we think these stages should be made up of these. An introduction stage or an introduction lesson, that's the introduction of a topic. It's the theme. It's obviously that very first stage, the time to fire up the learner's imagination, get them interested to want to go further and investigate. So you introduce your topic. The next would be the research. This could be a number of different ways, using a range of techniques and tools that's available on Glow and that as well. And you would adapt them for your age, attitude and ability of your learners, but giving them some time to actually research whatever the topic is. Then getting them to plan it. And it's all too easy to fall into that trap, really, allowing learners to just jump straight into Minecraft without getting them to think about what they're actually going to build. So they're going to plan what they're going to build. There is that old adage, isn't there, about, fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that can be so, so true in Minecraft. I've seen it being used in so many classrooms where they've not thought about exactly what they're doing in there. They're just giving the learners time to go in and build, rather than thinking about getting the learners to think about what are they actually doing. So the planning is absolutely crucial. Get them to think about the size of the build, the scale, what bricks they're going to use. What I usually do is actually use squared paper and coloured pencils and get them to do a 2D representation of the different blocks that they're going to use. It's really, really effective. And actually, when I was doing remote teaching, we used Excel Online and coloured blocks in that way to do exactly the same part of this process, planning out what they were building. Then you've got the build time. That's when it's really exciting, the actual build. Now, because of the research, the investigation stage, the learners know what they're building a representation of. And moreover, because of that planning stage, they know how they're going to build their representation. This all leads learners to be more discerning about what they build, and it actually facilitates creativity too. It's all part of self-regulation. They're planning their own work, the opportunities to revise their work based on their own reflection and also on feedback. We've got another stage, which is sharing information. Now, we've already a very quick look at some of those tools that are available within Minecraft Education. The tools could be used for your learners to share information. So learners could put signs in there. They could put NPCs that links out to various documents. They could use the camera. And all of this builds on the knowledge construction that has been developed through the various stages. It allows the learners to apply the knowledge in a new context, which is quite often interdisciplinary as well. It could be involving literacy and oracy. We always try to get our learners to do a presentation. This aspect can develop your learners' oracy skills further and develop confidence, and it helps learners to develop their critical thinking skills, and that in turn helps them to become better learners. So taking learners through these very stages, dividing the process into parts, you're helping them to build awareness, understanding, and control of their thought process. It's the whole metacognition there. And all of these actually fit into various parts of the 21 CLD, fits into different rubrics. We also need to consider the way you're going to use Minecraft to create that right learning environment. Quite often, teachers that I'm working with this, they're frightened because they see these flash fancy worlds and they think, I am never ever going to be able to do that. I'm never going to be able to build like that. And I always say, you don't have to. Why would you want to do that? That's not really actually embracing what Minecraft is about. So we say there's 3 types of worlds that you could use. So the first one is a learner-designed Minecraft world. Now you might provide them with a blank world for your learners to use. And we call this the learner design world. It's the kind of world where you expect the learners to do more of the creative build, to demonstrate their knowledge, their interpretation of a subject, may produce an interactive story, build a representation of a certain time in history that they've been covering. Recently, I've just done one on the Romans, and we did quite a lot of research into Roman times, looking at the buildings, and then I got the learners to actually start building a Roman town in Minecraft. And because they knew they were going to be doing that build, they were actually listening more attentively. They were researching more. They were planning what they were doing, and they built a beautiful Roman town. You might want to give your learners a partially built world, okay, a world that has been built for learners to explore a little bit, maybe find some information, some knowledge, and then they continue to add to this world for themselves and build additional builds on there. Now that could be very simple, that you might have all you've done is actually put signs in the world. Again, you don't have to be an expert builder and build some wonderful creations. Your learners are always going to be better than you at that. There is obviously the third option where we call this a teacher directed world, and that is more where you have got a completely pre-built world, and it's an example where you build a world for learners to go in and explore, find information and knowledge that you've built into that world. And that could be the catalyst for them to move them into a theme or an activity. And these are usually immutable worlds, designed more as a place to explore rather than learners build and creating. Now, each type of world have their place. The goal is to think about worlds in the context of the broader pedagogical model. It's never world or traditional activity. It's about the interplay between those two things. And I particularly like this. It's don't make it chocolate covered broccoli. In other words, what I mean there is don't take some unengaging learning and package it as fun, because they're going to see right through that. Minecraft started off as a fun game platform that children love, and the education features means it becomes a fun game where learning is innate. It's not forced. The main thing is to recognise the importance of ensuring that the use of the game is integrated fully into the instruction, into your lesson, your scheme of work, and allow for that autonomy and that creativity to sustain the learning going forward. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So a learner design world. Now this was a real world problem that was presented to Key Stage 2 learners. There was a Key Stage 1 teacher wanted to really encourage her learners to be more interested in reading more complex stories and actually derive some understanding from them. She asked the Key Stage 2 learners, how could she do this? The Key Stage 2 learners took on this challenge, just took it on board. They built a Minecraft world for Key Stage 1 learners to explore. So remember, as I show you this is Key Stage 2 learners that have built this using a range of Roald Dahl's text for inspiration for Key Stage 1 learners to actually use. I'm just going to take you through, let's look at this now. So they've used some posters in here to let them know about the settings of Roald Dahl, and the posters share the activity for developing younger learners' interest in this descriptive writing skills as well. Now, the learner is required to explore the world and choose settings and describe them in a book. Well, They've used posters very effectively to induce the activity of ask questions. And obviously these younger learners can use that little eye, the immersive reader, to get them to read it to them as well. Now, the big advantage of using Minecraft Education feature like this is that, you're going to be able to use that book and quill, the camera from inventory. And here we've got the learners coming to this particular house here. And can we guess who this house is for? So we're going along, and any of you that are familiar with Roald Dahl's stories, you might want to put it in the chat which story you think this is from. So we're going to go down a tunnel here. Inside that barn, and we're going to tunnel along. That this actually was taken, this was, the imagination for this was taken from Mr. Fox. So they're going to steal the ducks and the geese from these tunnels. And the next one that I'm going to show you, let's see if we can fathom out what story this is taken from. So they need to think about clues from the text to deduct the setting. And you'll see in here that we're going to have a very large table. And we've got some interesting things on this table as well. I'm taking a picture of it as we've gone along. Different things that are on the table here. We've got potion bottles used for spells. All of this is the BFG's setting. Now, this could also be done as an activity where learners explore settings from different books, picking out descriptive language or using it to create their own interpretation in Minecraft. But you can see here that they're encouraging the younger learners to actually put some information into a book and quill later. So that was Key Stage 2, creating this for Key Stage 1 learners. This is the one example I'm going to share with you. I was really, excited about this, and I know that you've had a webinar on OneNote as well. It's a product that I absolutely love. So I want to share with you one way a teacher that I know has harnessed the power of OneNote and Minecraft Education Edition to facilitate learning and not to make them the actual focal point of the lesson. They're there just to help. It was a creative writing exercise, and it can be on a topic that's, most young learners find creative writing can be a little bit of a challenge as well. So I explain this activity. Please think about those 21 CLD rubrics and pop in the chat which rubric you think this could support. And if you're feeling brave, put a code level there too. Now, this was for children in year 6. So these are kind of 10, 11-year-olds, okay? And they had the added motivation was provided with the introduction of what is called a pick a path story. Now, for those who are not familiar with that genre, what it really means is that the reader can actually regularly be presented with different choices at the bottom of the page, and depending on their option they select, the outcome or the ending of the story can be quite different. So I was excited at the idea of using OneNote to create these stories with the learning objective is to produce an interactive, chosen their own adventure story. They had to work collaboratively online to produce an end product, and they had to create stories to share online with a wider audience. Start thinking now about which of these rubrics are we talking about here. The learners in this class were already pretty familiar with using OneNote, and they just had to figure out how they were going to hyperlink between pages in the notebooks. And with that problem solved, the writing began. Now, to encourage the learners to reflect on their own writing and be creative as possible, the teacher asked them to draw a picture of the scene that they would be describing, or alternatively, to recreate it in Minecraft. That's when the whole magic started. So in using Minecraft, the learners could literally visualize what they were writing about. That editing from this process was reflected in the OneNotes by highlighting changes made as a result of the Minecraft world. Now, due to the ease of actually sharing these notebooks in OneNote, learners were able to read and comment on the progression of the stories, provide feedback to one another, suggest ideas or the direction of the stories. And with the writing complete, the class had the opportunity to read all of them, visit the worlds, and then vote for 3 stories that they enjoyed the most. I just thought it was an absolutely amazing project, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable experience for the learners and for the teacher, and it was just really enjoyable for me to kind of like hear about this. So this is actually one comment by one of the Year 6 learners, Harry. Okay, so the goal was not just to make something pretty in Minecraft, it was actually to improve the quality of your writing. And after writing the story, the idea was to look back at Minecraft and see how we could improve the writing they'd already completed. So this learner was so excited about this, Harry. These learners took the tools like OneNote and Minecraft so easily that they could articulate how it was helping their learning, such as being able to improve their creative writing and by viewing what they were writing about in the actual worlds as well. So activities like this are harnessing technology, allowing tasks to be significantly redesigned, speeds up the creative process in ways that traditional tools simply don't allow for. And it's finally, the evidence is, in the joy the learners had of the learning, the pride they felt in the final production was just absolutely amazing. So that is one example of where they've actually just taken a world and started building in there themselves. An example now of a partly built Minecraft world. This was celebrations from around the world, and this is an exciting journey of discovery as learners research different celebrations and festivals and celebrations across the world, and look at things they already know about, but also lots of things that they don't know about, to enable the learners to have a rich and meaningful experience, to ensure that learning was purposeful, and it was something that the teacher was actually going to do throughout the year by actually exploring a range of celebrations and festivals as well, and looking at the values and importantly the cultural differences between these things as well. They were challenged to design and build what they will convey the meaning of the various celebrations from around the world, and the main reason is that the school has had an influx of children from various countries join the school, and the teacher would like to ensure that there is a common understanding of the different children's beliefs as well. So we think about the skill communication rubric. Again, there was so much that they would have to think about here when they was doing, they had to produce an extended communication. It was going to be multimodal as well, meaning that they had to have 2 different kinds of evidence in there. What I'm just going to do is actually just pop open the world so you can get an idea of what this looks like. This is an example of a partly built world. I'm just going to open up Minecraft. Bring that hopefully. Okay. This is a scary bit, going in live on a Teams call. Let's see if this is going, there we go. Right, okay. So this is the Museum of Celebrations. So I'm going to start this off. This is going to be my starting point, and this is a partly built world. So you'll just see that it's just got the bare bones of it ready to give the learners for them to carry on. Okay, so here we are at the entrance to this Museum of Celebrations. And we could go along. So we've seen that there's a structure built. Teachers built this. We've got some NPCs. Okay. The I've been explaining exactly what they need to do, how different people celebrate different things at different times of year. So we're going to go inside. It's completely empty because it's the learners that actually need to build inside here representations of different celebrations. And we've got a little bit of literacy going on in here as well. So you'll see here that we've got an MPC, we've got a link out, and I'm going to bring that in. And basically what that is doing is opening up a sway, which hopefully we'll show you here in a moment. I'm really testing my broadband here. Okay, so this is a poem that's about seasons, and this is just about the winter season. So you can see it's going to start actually encouraging the learners to think about another medium that they're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to come out of there. So that is something that's going to go on for a long period of time. They're going to create it for a particular audience, which are the other learners inside the classroom, because they've got so many learners coming from different countries, and they want to make sure that they all understand each other's world. So that was a partly built world, very minimal by the teacher, expecting the learners to come in there and continue to build. And then we've got a teacher-directed Minecraft world. And this is an excellent example here. This was a pre-built world where the learners go into, they explore, and they find information and knowledge about the Principality Stadium, the rugby stadium. So that was a completely built world for them. But go back to what we were talking about those different lessons. This introduction stage was them going into a completely built world where they couldn't actually build it themselves, but they could find lots of information. The learners then had to go and research and their locality, because the challenge was that they had to design a rugby club for their local community. And it was a club not just to play rugby, but to actually meet the needs of the community. What did the community need? So they had to do a lot of research, looking, questionnaires out to people, to businesses, what was needed in their area. Then they would plan it, then they would build it, then they would share information. So they would put up NPCs, notices, etc. And then they would produce a video walkthrough. I'm going to give you a little tiny example of one of these walkthroughs.
Here is our WRU Rugby Club of the Future. It's built on the history of our community.
After researching Risker Rugby Club, we learnt about the arches built from stone from the quarry. This is the entrance with arches representing the long bridge on the badge with a statue of Brian Dando, the founder of Risker Rugby Club. And we are looking back to reach forward.
We have created NPCs to give information on history and guidance for people. To be inclusive, we have created a lift with command blocks so everyone can enter.
We thought the community would enjoy this canal through the ground floor because our canal is really important in our community.
This is the car park entrance.
I'm going to leave it there because of it goes on for a little while, but hopefully it'll give you a little taste of what actually can be done with Minecraft, and we are going to revisit again in a couple of minutes. But just think of those 21 CLD rubrics. Think about how many we've actually covered there, just giving you an example of a few projects. So the next tool that I want to discuss with you is Flipgrid. Now, Flipgrid is a video discussion platform that helps educators see and hear from every learner in the class. Flipgrid is designed to allow learners to speak to the group, but without the same fear that they might feel if they were actually there in real life, actually, talking to the other learners. So learners can re-record responses. That removes the pressure of answering in their class and on the spot. So what exactly is Flipgrid then? So at its most basic level, Flipgrid is a tool that allows teachers to post topics that are essentially videos with some accompanying text. This is then shared with the learners who can be prompted to respond, and the response can be made by using the camera on their device as well, and the posted into the original topic. And these videos can be re-recorded as many times as they're needed before they're uploaded. So as an educator, you set up a topic, then the learners get the topic directly to see the post and they respond and when they're ready. So this is actually really linking very strongly to knowledge construction. So let's think about this now, how this is. So knowledge construction happens when learners do more than just reproduce what they've learned. They go beyond knowledge reproduction to generate ideas and understanding that are new to them. Now, the skills of knowledge construction are often considered critical thinking. Activities that require knowledge construction ask learners to interpret, analyse, synthesise, or evaluate information ideas. So let's consider what these mean individually. So the first one, interpretation. It means drawing inference beyond the literal meaning. For example, learners might read a description of a historical period and infer why people lived or behaved in a certain way that they did. That's interpretation. Analysis means identifying parts of the whole and their relationship to each other. So, for example, learners might investigate a local environmental factors to determine which are most likely to affect migrating birds. The third one is synthesis. It means identifying the relationship between two or more ideas. For example, learners might be required to compare and contrast perspectives from multiple sources. Then you've got evaluation. So evaluation means judging the quality, the credibility or importance of data, ideas or events. For example, learners might read different accounts of a historical event and determine which one they find most credible. And if learners are asked to look up information and then write a paper that simply describes what they found, they're reproducing knowledge, they're not constructing knowledge. So after completing a project, a presentation is a channel for learners to share with others what they've learned. It's also a chance to challenge and expand their understanding of a topic by having others ask questions of them as well. Now, learners need to have the opportunity to look at things from different perspectives. Knowledge construction takes tasks deepens learners' understanding of core principles. They must abstract what they've learned and look at it from different perspectives in order to apply it to a different situation. So let's go back to Flipgrid and look at the basics of this. So once you've created a Flipgrid account, you create a group. I've created an account, I've clicked on create a group, and the group is kind of like your learning community. It could be your classroom. And within your groups, you can post unlimited topics. And this is going to give you a dashboard. So I'm going to go create a group. I've created one here, and I've got to give it a name. And I've literally just created one this afternoon. Actually, we just called it 21 CLD Scotland. Okay, and you can see in there that I've got one group and two topics in there within that group. So a Flipgrid topic is a discussion prompt or a question, an idea, anything you want your community, your classroom to discuss. You can create as many topics as you want. There's no limit. So we'll just see how quick it is to actually create a topic. So we're literally just clicking on create a topic. We have to give it a title and a description, something that's really going to engage your learners to discuss something as well. And then we can put media there so you can focus the conversation. So you could record your message to them, or you could link out to another video, or you could use an emoji or an image or another file that might support the activity. You've got all those different options there. Obviously, you've got these media options, and then you've got an attachment option as well. And you can link up to there's nine different links to add additional scaffolding for your students as well. And you can also change how long you want them to record for. You can set it up to 10 minutes long. Now that's the only fields you need to fill in. And there are additional options which you could look at again, but that's all we need to then be able to post that topic. And we can share that in a number of different ways. We can share it with a join code, pasting it into communities. We can use a QR code. We can embed code, which can share it with Teams, Google Classrooms. In simple terms, it's just these 5 steps, which is create a group, add members, that could be your classroom, create a topic, share that topic, watch the magic start happening. Okay, so watch your learners' creativity and self-expression really come to life, and using this platform can support the use of ICT for learning. Given the extensive use that young people have of digital technologies in their world outside of the classroom, we need to ensure that they can understand and use these technologies in powerful ways to learn and make sense of the world they actually live in. So while digital technologies are becoming increasingly common in the classroom and learning environments, they're often used to present or consume information rather to transform the learning experience. And this is what we're trying to encourage you to do. Think about changing that actual learning experience. We need to design learning experience so that the young people can develop the skills not only to evaluate and analyze information and ideas, but also to design and create new information. So in addition to using the platform like Flipgrid, we can connect with and build relationships with a wider network of people. This helps us to really get them to understand the world in a deeper way through engaging with a multitude of different perspectives. So using a meaningful way, Flipgrid can help your learners achieve a code 4 on the use of ICT for learning. That rubric is very closely linked to knowledge construction, which we've highlighted already at the start of this part on Flipgrid. So if the overall learning activity is designed that it does not require knowledge construction, but knowledge construction is the main activity, for example, learners need to spend 10 minutes listing details from a story and 35 minutes using the details to propose why a character committed a crime. That's the knowledge construction, because it's the amount of time you actually give to a certain part. The allocation of the time in the lesson moves it, knowledge construction, to be the main requirement. And using the Flipgrid platform in this way, quite hard to say that, as one of your tools within a learn activity, it helps that activity reach a minimum of a code 3 in the knowledge construction, which also comes into real world problem solving and innovation, because it's another rubric that Flipgrid where it comes in on its own. If we look at this more closely, this is a very different real world problem. So it's a very different definition of problem than we often see in an academic setting, where textbooks and problems are simply practicing and executing specific learning procedures. What we're talking about here is problem solving that involves a task with a defined challenge for the learner. Problem solving happens when learners must develop a solution to a problem that is new to them, or to complete a task that they've not been instructed how to do it, or design a complex product that meets a set of requirements. So we've got the problem, analysis, idea, plan, realization, and success. Now, often problem solving requires learners to do some or all of those. Investigate the parameters of the problem to guide their approach, generate their ideas or their alternatives, devise their own approach, or explore several possibilities of procedures that might be appropriate to the situation, and then design a coherent solution. They need to test that solution and iterate on improvements to satisfy the requirements of the problem. You can see this is going round. to real-world problems that are authentic situations and needs that exist outside that academic context. So an example is learners use the town's bus map to propose where pedestrian crossings should be added in the town. This has a specific explicit content that learners are actually using data to actually look at to do this. The next phase in the rubric is innovation. So what does that actually mean? So innovation requires them putting into practice in real world learners' ideas or solutions. Now, in most cases, learners will not be able to have the authority to actually implement their own ideas. It is innovation only if the learners convey their ideas to people outside the classroom in the context of, who could actually implement that idea. So again, this is where Flipgrid could come into its own. Learners need the time to explore and develop their ideas, and it's tough to formulate an opinion on something when you're still trying to figure out what it is. So use the students to student reply in Flipgrid. Everyone in the group can respond or view each other's videos. Others can comment on the work that is being done and provide feedback to their friends. Thus providing the time and the right environment in Flipgrid, learners can generate ideas and alternatives and devise their own approaches, explore several possibilities and procedures that might be appropriate to that real problem. Flipgrid has a guest mode as well, whereby teachers can invite speakers to join the class for a discussion. Guests could watch the videos that have been made by the students and they can create their own. It's a nice tool to introduce experts into the classroom and help them share their knowledge with the students. Using these features, students can also pose questions to the guest speakers, and the guest speakers can either answer them directly and respond to the students at a convenient time to them. So, this is a way for a teacher to bring these experts, like could be an IT expert, an engineer, a scientist, other professions, so students can actually ask those questions about those particular jobs. Now, one teacher who goes by the name of Savvy Educator said this, that if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. Whether it's from book talks to project reflections to you could even have global maths buddies, sharing those ideas about those holidays and celebrations, traditions. The only limit what your student shares is what you ask them. These are just, I'm going to very quickly put up just some ideas of what you could actually use in Flipgrid for, whether you're in primary or secondary. And I'm going to give you one example here. This was very recently done, where a teacher I know, she actually was getting the children to be more aware of plastic and a place of plastic, and they had to write the story, and they had to then read the story with Flipgrid and actually make sure that they were either in first or third person all the way through in there. So that was what was set to them, and I'm just going to give you a very quick example.
All my life I've lived in the supermarket. I've always wished to be bought, until today. Someone bought me. It was like a dream come true. When we got home, I was so scared. They were throwing me in the bin. Before I knew it, I was thrown in the trash truck and about to be squished. I was so worried. Suddenly, I was free as a bird. I was free. After that, I swam through the magnificent ocean. I seen 2 turtles.
Okay, that was just a short example as well. So allow for that creative expression. The most powerful expression of voice is not only in thought, but in how those thoughts are shared. So giving learners the opportunity to articulate their voice is the most powerful way for them, whether it's art, poetry, video, paper activity, that can demonstrate evidence of their learning and understanding. With that in mind, I'd like to share with you a project that I was involved in that I think demonstrates the interaction between a number of different apps. So 2 of the apps we've already looked at, that's Minecraft Education Edition and Flipgrid, and one that we're going to consider in a couple of minutes as well. and that is the video editing. So I'd like to share with you some information around a machinima. Now, those who are not familiar with the term machinima, you might wonder what on earth this actually means. So machinima is a word derived from machine animated cinema. It's actually a portmanteau of machine and cinema, and put together you get machinima. So for our context, the machinima aspect will be Minecraft Education Edition, and the cinema aspect will be a video production made within. In essence, it's a short animated screencast video created in a video game. I'm going to show you a very short example of one. This is the project that I worked on.
Ships! I've heard report of an Irish fleet. My lords, ships approach. I can see a shield. Can't you see it straight in peace? My lord, beg the gate to crown. I am a follower, king of Ireland. I come to unite our islands. I come to marry your sister, the lady.
Okay, so that actually was an extract from a machinima of the story of Bramwin, which is a legend, and it's a very, very long story. Now, let's make it clear from the start, I'm not talking about you as educators creating a range of machinimas to teach various topics. We're talking about your learners being the creators of their own machinimas. This example we've just shown you here was a year 5-6 project. So we're talking there of learners aged 9 and 10, 8, 9 and 10 actually. They actually created this. They had to read the stories. They had to write the scripts. They completely built the worlds in Minecraft. They were the actors, so they were in there as playing the actors. They were doing the filming in there as well with Flipgrid. They actually created a 20-minute film, which they then showed to parents, which was just absolutely fantastic. The learning really happened in the doing. It was the process rather than the end product where the most impact came. The final product, however, was shared with a wider audience. It added that value to the strategy. And again, it was underpinning more than one of the 21 CLD rubrics. If you've got any ideas, pop them in the chat. But I would say that you're definitely going to be using ICT for Learning at Code 5. There was self-regulation in there and many, many more as well. Now, believe it or not, most young people know what a machinima is. And although most young people create and watch machinimas because it's fun, it's more than just entertainment. Educators and learners are now using this medium in a variety of innovative ways to express their ideas. It could be from literacy works, music, art, all sorts of different things. And it was to demonstrate the content knowledge and document in-world activities. So history and literature were the main subjects for this machinima, but you could use it for a medium to explore lots of different areas as well. And learners use the medium to express their understanding of many areas of curriculum. The focus, as I say, was on history and literature in terms of the content knowledge. So as with any project-based learning, machinima require the creation of this requires learners to work as a team, to negotiate, communicate effectively, manage time and resources, and adhere to a set of parameters while being flexible and taking initiative. I'm sure you can see that you are hitting so many of those rubrics at different levels, but putting it in that kind of context. What it also does as well, which I think is wonderful, instead of rather than having your learners take a test to assess the declaration or procedural knowledge about something, you're actually getting them to creating machinimas like this. You're allowing them to be independent, self-directed learners who express their creativity while they're actually demonstrating what they know. And again, underpinning all of these rubrics that we've seen here. So in the top right corner inside of Flipgrid, you can see there is a camera button. When you click on that, this is the kind of screen that you will get up, and you need to click on the options, and then you will get up the screen record options here. You're then presented with this screen, and you can capture your screen and click Start Screen Recording. It'll ask you what it is you actually want to record, so whether it's an entire screen, whether it's a window. So it means that you can actually be recording this while you've got your Minecraft playing in the background, and you can speak into it and record it all at the same time. And then you can share it. And once it's actually done, that will save to the profile. And once you've got it saved to the profile, they can download the video. So that means that video can then be used a number of different ways. So you might not have recorded it with sound. You might want to add the sound later. There's all sorts of different ways. I mean, again, it's quite a long topic to be able to talk about. But there's a number of different ways that you could actually use Flipgrid and recording as well. So you can see this one there where it says resource link to Flipgrid. I'll just show you very quickly this one. That was just literally recorded in and music added inside Flipgrid. But a couple of other ways that you can use it, Minecraft and Flipgrid together. These are ways which I'm not going to have time to completely demonstrate, but you can actually add it as a resource link so that it would have added one to the celebration world, and basically it would come up with a question for the learners to actually then add their response to here, and they would just nicely record the video into there. You can also link it to an MPC because it's a URL, and there you can actually just put that as a button on your MPC. So 2 ways you can put the two together. Now, obviously, if you've been creating something like a Machinima, you've got different films together, you need to put them as one product. So this is where something like the video editor app comes into play. So it's a set of video creation editing tools that allows you to include music, text, motion, 3D effects. It is the actual successor of Movie Maker. Some of you might be familiar with Movie Maker, but it's a very, very easy tool. Say, these 8 and 9-year-olds were using this very, very effectively. I'm going to just put it up as a demo on here. So this is the actual product. So the first thing you need to do is actually say, okay, I'm going to have a new video. You need to give the video a name. So we'll just call this Glow, for example. And then I can either open up or just drag things across. So I've got a folder here where I've got a couple of videos in, which I'm just going to bring across a couple of videos. And then I've also got some images as well that I might just want to use in with there. And this is just a very, very quick, rough idea of how you can use this. This is how quick and simple it is. So we've got all our resources here. We've got a storyboard at the bottom, so we can put our items in how we want them. I don't want that one, so I need to put a tick on it. Use the bin, get rid of it. So I want a plan, and then I'm going to have a bit of a video in there, and then I'm going to put another picture, and then I'm going to have another video in. can see how easy it is to move things around. Now we can actually trim from here, we can add motion, we can put effects in here, there's all sorts of things. So if we actually look at this particular video and we said we wanted to trim it, or you could even split it. So if we trim it, it shows us what we've got. Saying, let's consider settings for an individual world and how the game will be played within that world. Say, okay, and think, well, actually, that's far too long. I want it down to there. Done. And it's cut that video down for me. Once you've done all of this, what you want, you could actually add music, or you can actually put your custom audio in there. So this is where you could be putting your sound files in. Once you're happy, and you can leave that and go back to it as many times as you want. So once you're happy with everything, you just actually click on finish video and it creates one video file. And say it's very simple, very easy to use. And that really is the video editor. And again, if you're using it in conjunction with other tools, you are going to be supporting a number of these different 21CLD rubrics, in particular use of ICT for learning, skill communication, and also real world problem solving. I'm just conscious of the time, so I'm just going to whip on a little bit and just go over the voice recorder. Now this is an app again that's part that you can download for free. The video app is for recording conversations and other sounds. It was called a sound recorder once upon a time. Very simple in here is that you've got to hit that microphone button and that will start recording. It comes up as a big screen. Once you've actually got your recording, you can play it back. You can put flags in there if you want to identify certain parts to it. You can share your recording a number of ways. You can trim your recording. You can just get rid of your recording. And you can also in here actually rename your recording, give it a name, and there's some more options with those three ellipse buttons there. This particular app is really good for podcasts. And again, think of this as being another medium where learners can actually express themselves in another way. So again, that podcast is perfect for different 21CLDs. Thinking about the multimodal communication side of it, it fits perfectly in there as well.
To get some help and next steps and information, if that's okay. So obviously DigiLearnScot, where you most likely saw this session being advertised, there's a whole range of information and tools, suggestions around Microsoft products, but a whole range of other resources and tools as well. So please do check out the learning courses and also have a little look at the different packages that are available within there. We have a YouTube channel and there's a whole section on computer science, digital pedagogy and cyber. So please do check that out. There's also Glow Connect. So again, if you're thinking specifically about Microsoft products, more particularly the ones that are available within Glow, and as I've mentioned in the chat throughout, and we mentioned at the start, the products we're showing tonight are not Glow available. However, if you're Windows 10, some of you may have the video editor and voice recorder tools available. I've popped in the chat how to check if they're on your device. And Flipgrid and Minecraft for Education are not available, but Glow Connect has all of the up-to-date information around Glow. In the team that we've created, Sarah has popped a wealth of information in there too. If you check out the first channel, Introduction and Course Material, you'll find a tab up at the top. Sarah, are you okay to click on one more click? Thank you, or maybe two, actually, there you go. If you don't see it, depending on the size of your device, click on the one more and that will take you to the 21st CLD participant course book. That has a range of lesson ideas and activities in there. It also has all of the rubrics and the branches in there for you to see. So You can see where your lesson would align within each of the particular areas that you are focusing on within 21st Century CLT. So please do check that out. It's in the team space. If your colleagues are not already in, you're obviously a member of the team because you're on this call, but if you have colleagues you think they'd be interested in this series or sitting the course and program exam, please do share this video once it's posted, or take a photo of this and share it with them and ask them to scan the codes. We would welcome anybody with a Glow account who's a member of staff to join and take part in this offer from Education Scotland, DigiLearnScot, Prodigy Learning and Microsoft. So that's Sarah, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you very, very much. Have a lovely evening. This recording will be available on DigiLearnScot's YouTube channel within the week. We'll post into the team, we'll update the notifications about videos to let you know that 1, 2 and 3 are then available. Thank you everyone, have a lovely evening.